Hello, and welcome to the Knitworthy Podcast. My name is Brianne, also known as Being Brianne, and this is episode 14, and today is September 5th in the year 2014. You will notice my gorgeous mother is not here. Isn't that sad? It is. She came down with a migraine very early this morning, and then it has evolved into chills, and you know how warm she gets when we're recording, and she's huddled in bed under a mass of blankets with a wool shawl on, and I think she's getting sick. I hate to say it. I think that's it though. So, poor mom, she's not here. But normally, I have a co-host, which is my gorgeous mother, who is Stony Brook on Ravelry and Instagram. And her name is, we call her Mama Linda. You can feel free to call her that too if you like. So I'm going to be doing this solo. We'll see how it goes. It may or may not happen again. I don't know. So anyways, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. We're doing well. Just really want to thank everybody for the wonderful outpouring of love that we felt and received over our last podcast. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to be real sometimes. It's really easy to wear a mask and to pretend like everything is fabulous. It's a lot harder to be honest and to live in truth sometimes, but it's also a very freeing thing. And so we feel good. We were really kind of nervous about how it would be received, but everybody has been very positive, and I think it feels good to know that other people go through what we called tornadoes in their lives as well. That not every person on the planet has their things together. Not everybody in the planet, has a life that is just sunshine, rainbow, and unicorns. That's the truth. It's true. So anyways, let's get on with our show. It's probably going to be a shorter episode today since it's just me, and Mom and I won't be rambling on to each other about things. So we'll see how long this episode goes. How long can Brianne talk to herself? I don't know. Let's find out. What I am wearing. This is a very old finished object. And by very old, I mean I probably finished this about 7 years ago. 7, maybe 6. I'm guessing 7. Because I know that we lived here in Missouri when I made it. This is the my so-called scarf pattern, and I don't remember who wrote it, but I will link to it in Ravelry in our show notes. If I get things wrong, I link to them in the show notes on our website, which is knitworthypodcast.com. So, and if I misspeak, I will correct it there. So always take a look at our show notes. I'll link to everything that I talk about or that we talk about usually, and it is a very good resource. So I'll get a little closer so you can see what the stitch pattern looks like. So it's just some crisscrossing of the stitches there. Very fun. I made it out of the yarn that it was called for, which was, I believe, Manos del Uruguay. And I think this was the Wildflower colorway. I love, love, love the colorway. Do not love how itchy it kind of feels on my neck. It is a very kind of woolly yarn. It is a single ply, and so it just has a little bit of a scratch to it. So I think that the next time I wash it, I might put a little bit of hair conditioner in it to see if that softens it up a little bit. I'll let you know how that goes. Gooseberries. Guess what I found this week? I found that we have some new reviews on iTunes. How happy does that make me? It makes me so happy. So, I got my phone in my pocket. I find these hilarious. I really do. You guys are so funny. You crack me up. And so I'm going to read some of these to you. Okay. Where am I here? Okay. This one is from Katandia, who won our last contest and who I am friends with on Ravelry, and I am a follower on Instagram. And I love the way that you guys phrase things. Your phrasing is very humorous to me. So I'm going to read this to you. She posted this on July 14th. I stumbled upon this video cast through Instagram of all places, and I'm so glad I did. Linda and Brianne are cute and funny and are such prolific crafters. I'm jealous of all their FOs. They are also so incredibly upbeat and perky, but not in the way that makes you want to smack it out of them, more in the sincere way that makes you want to be upbeat along with them. Thank you for not smacking us. I love the tangents they get off into and the stories about their lives and family. It really makes you feel like you know them and that you are friends with them, which they are so friendly. I'm sure they would be friends with all the watchers if they could be. That is so true. All right, and one more. This one is by G. Maggie, posted on August 3rd. Linda and Brianne are smart, funny, enthusiastic, adventurous, informative, and beautiful women. Really, all that gorgeousness in one family seems unfair. Why, thank you. Yes. The podcast is like going next door for a visit with your best neighbors. I love knitting along, and pardon the cliche, they will have you in stitches. The podcast became an instant favorite. Thank you so much. So we now have 10 5-star ratings on iTunes. 10! So if you have not left a review for us or have given us a rating, please feel free to. It makes me do dances like this. Like this. Like this. I'll stop that now because that's embarrassing actually. But anyways, so if you'd like to see me dance more like that, then, leave us a review. So that's that. I have nothing that I finished this week. It has been a crazy week. We've actually showed the house several times, which has been wonderful. We're so happy about that. However, it is a house of large proportions, and so it takes a while to clean and get ready, especially when you have 3 children in the way while you're trying to clean and get ready. And sometimes I only have Evan with me, but if you did not see the last podcast and saw Evan make his podcastorial debut, he really likes to be wherever it is that I am. And so it's very hard to clean when he's following behind me, doing things and helping me. He's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful helper. Sometimes. But I'm trying to teach him how to help me, more than just following me around and like attaching himself onto my leg and, getting the broom out and sweeping the walls. He does things like that, but that's okay. So I'm gonna grab my sweater. My sweater fell down. So I'm still knitting on the flax sweater for Owen. That shouldn't surprise you because I have been knitting on this for a while. Here is my stitch marker from where I left off last week, or at the beginning of our podcasting week. It's kind of like, some people measure it from, the Sabbath, like on, Friday night starts the beginning of a new week. Some people it's Saturday. For us, I guess it's Friday because that's when we podcast. It used to be Wednesday. We can't make up our minds. Don't make us. We like to surprise you sometimes. So I've gotten done maybe about 4.5 inches. I don't know exactly. I haven't measured it. I don't have a measuring tape with me. Not something I always carry around with me in my pocket or anything. But yeah, so here we are. And this is the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. And it is going well. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can see. Again, this is the sweater that is knit for my son. He is going to be 10. Oh no, he's going to be 11 this month. Owen, stop growing. we're measuring from around his belly, since that's the biggest part of him, because of the steroids that he's been on for chemotherapy. And so he has a 43-inch circumference for his belly. And so I got the wrong weight of yarn. Not intentionally. That was a whole story on its own. That was an Are You Kidding Me from a while back. So if you want to hear that, Are You Kidding Me? I think it was around the beginning of August. But anyways, this is a light worsted. I really needed a worsted. And everywhere that it was listed as a worsted. But this is Cascade 220 in their superwash. I do believe that the colorway is named like 1974. They have those very romantic names for all their colors. Ooh, the color. That was like, look, I'm yellow. So anyways, it looks better here. That's a good color. There you go. So with the math that we had to do, well, actually, more accurately, with the math that I made Brian do, Brian is my husband, I ended up finding out that I had to knit, I believe it was the 51-inch size in order to get a 43-inch circumference or size for Owen. So it's a lot of knitting. I mean, that's like knitting a sweater for myself. But it won't have to be as long because he's not as tall as a man who would be wearing a 51-inch sweater, and the sleeves won't be as long, so that's good. I'll probably still have to buy a couple of skeins of yarn in order to complete the sweater, but that's not so bad. Also, I was gifted a pattern this week, which was very sweet, and I really appreciate it. I didn't get permission to say who it was from, so I won't mention it, but you know who you are. I got gifted a pagona, and this has been something I've wanted to knit for quite a while. Let me rearrange my things. Look, okay, first, don't look at that bag. First, you have to look at this bag. This is the bag that the flax sweater is knitting in, or living in. Look at that bag. Okay, so this is, I believe this is an Amy Butler bag. Yes, the tag says Amy Butler. Now this is an older bag. And look at it, it's huge. It's a massive bag, but I mean, like, it'll hold a ton of stuff. So if you need a bag that holds a ton of stuff, I don't even know if she makes these anymore, but you need to try and find one because it is humongous. And I love it. I got it for my birthday from Mom and Dad. Probably about 6 years ago. A lot of things happened 6 years ago. I knitted this scarf and I got this bag. There you go. It has, what I like about it is not only that it's huge, it also has a beautiful coordinating fabric on the inside. And are these not my colors? They totally are. They are. And they have two large pockets that go like from here to here on either side. And then on the sides right here, you can't see that. Let me hold it up so you can see. On the sides right here are places where you could stick needles. That was my iPad. Whoops. Oh, thank you for the OtterBox Defender. I'm so thankful for that because otherwise our iDevices would be utterly ruined. Oh, goodness. So I'm assuming that some people will use this for like storing multiple projects in. Me, I usually will keep like a sweater or blankets or things that are larger in here. So that is my Amy Butler bag that I love, love, love. I do have one or two other larger, like really large bags like that that I have, but this one is my favorite. The only thing that I don't care for as much is that it doesn't close up all the way. It has these little things right here. See that? These are magnets, and so the only way that I can really close it in any sense of the way is to put those magnets together, and then it's significantly smaller, but it still is open, and so kids can pull things out And we have creepy crawly things here. I mean, not like so much inside the house, but I'm very paranoid about creepy crawly things. Truth about Brianne. Brianne doesn't do well with things that have more than 2 legs. Sorry. It's just the truth. I'm paranoid. So I like to know, number one, that things aren't going to be falling out of my bag if it tips over in the car or, wherever, the dentist's office. But also I want to know that things can't get inside of my bag and surprise me. That's no fun. Okay, so in my Chicken Soup Designs bag is living my Pagona, which I just started yesterday. So yesterday was my Peepa day. That's the day that I go with my grandmother, and Thursdays, that's salon day. And so yesterday was a very full day for her because she got her nails done and she got her hair cut and colored. So we were at the salon for approximately 3 hours, and 3 hours worth of knitting. You got to be prepared. So I decided it was a perfect time to start a new project. And so I did. Let me get my iPad off of the floor. Okay. I got it. And it is safe because we love the OtterBox Defenders. Yes, we do. Okay. I'm going to go to my Pagona pattern because I want you to be able to see what this looks like because it is so beautiful. Here we go. Now I do my patterns in Knit Companion, and I don't know what it is that you use to store your patterns or when you're working on them, but this is what I use, and Mom and I both use it and we really like it. So here's what Pagona looks like. It's a shawl that is they say about 15 inches deep, so going deep. And I think they said, 15 and a half inches from cast on edge along center to bind off, and then 58 inches across the wingspan. So that's a good size. That's a good size shawl. And so I think this bag is going to be perfect for it because it can definitely hold my yarn. So I wanted this project to start while I was at Peepa's salon appointment because I knew, number one, I wasn't going to have any kids and I could put in my headphones and not be too distracted, and it would help to kind of drown out the sound of the salon. Salons are loud. I don't know if you know that. It's true. They are. And sometimes my ears are a little bit sensitive, so I have to be careful. So here is the beginning of my Pagona. And I have these on, usually, I have these on my Knit Picks interchangeables. Usually I use my Chowgoos. Those are my preferred interchangeable needles now. I got them towards the beginning of this year. They were a Christmas present from all my Christmas money. And I pulled it all together and I got a set and I was so excited. And I really love those. And but my needle size, I'm doing a 7, is busy right now doing something else in my Chowgoos. I had to go back to my Knit Picks, and so here's what this looks like. So you have these are, that's so much better. There we go. Rather than looking under, I'll just look over. Does that sound good to you? That sounds good to me. Here are my knitted stitches and then the purls. And I've just now started on the outer edge, now creating another panel of what will be knitted stitches and purled stitches. So this is a really interesting construction. Stephen West is very smart, and I'm not gonna lie, this has been a little bit challenging for me. I've had to rip back a couple of times in order to get this right, but I think I'm kind of starting to get the concept of it. Like, I'm fine when it's like this. It's when you're adding in the new stitches on either end that I'm like, what am I doing? And I had this moment. It was towards the end of Pipa's salon appointment, and I was kind of trying to see, do I have enough time to start this new section? And I wasn't entirely sure, and so I was trying to rush it, and where it says knit to 3 stitches to the end, I was not counting the 3 stitches that are the edging. There's like the 3 stitches, yarn over, and then the rest of my stitches. Well, I was like, oh, well, I didn't count those 3 stitches to the end, so I knitted to 3 stitches before that. And so, like, it was messing stuff up. So I stopped what I was doing, and I waited until last night after the kids were in bed, and I got it figured out. And then this morning, last night I ripped back, or tinked back those couple of rows, and then this morning, I was able to get it fixed. But I think it's going to be gorgeous. I think it's going to be beautiful. But you know what? Were you so busy looking at the structure that you did not look at the yarn? Because I want you to see this yarn. Because I think that this yarn is so pretty. This is, let me get out the tag. Well, would you like to see the yarn all balled up? Because it's pretty here too. Yay! Okay, this is Prism Yarns Merino Mia in the Copper Penny colorway. And these are smaller put-ups of yarn. So this is 190 yards for 2 ounces. And, so I have 2 of those because you can't make a shawl out of 1. Yeah, you'll need 2 if you're using this yarn. And I have saved this yarn. I'm trying to remember when we bought it. It's been a while. I know it's been at least 4 years, but I love the yarn so much that I was having a really hard time finding a project that I wanted to use it on. And at first I thought with the Pagona I was going to use some Malabrigo that was very variegated, and then I decided that wasn't such a good idea because I really wanted the structure of the pattern to shine and not so much the yarn. I didn't want the yarn to muddy up what the pattern was doing, and so I switched over to decided to use this one, which although it's not so much a tonal because there are a lot of, within the colors they're all very similar, but there's a lot of differences, but I think it doesn't cause you to lose sight of what's going on with the stitches. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head. So there you go. So anyways, I decided it was time to use that yarn rather than waiting for the perfect pattern for it, because honestly, I haven't found the perfect pattern in 4 years. I think it's time to start using it. So that's it. That's what I have on the needles right now. I finished nothing, like I said. I don't spin, although I could be fairly soon. More on that another episode. Okay, so I have an Are You Kidding Me? I've had a couple this week. If you count the thing with the Pagona, that was an Are You Kidding Me? So sorry I have to keep on reaching down and grabbing things. That's kind of annoying, even for me. So let me grab my drop stitch. Come here, little stitchy. Thank you. Okay, my Are You Kidding Me? So I had balled up a whole bunch of yarn. Do you remember that? When I had like 3 balls of yarn that I balled up, and that I was like, I'm going to use these right away. Well, one of them I'm going to start these mittens on September 15th when the knit along starts, and then I was going to knit a pair of Spring Forward socks out of the Freshwater Pearls yarn, and I love that yarn. I was knitting the ribbing, and I was so excited because it was looking really gorgeous. And then I got into the pattern, and I got like an inch in, And I was already bored. And I was like, I don't want to do this. This is not making me happy. And so I ripped it out, the whole thing. I just ripped it out. I was all done. And so, yeah. So they will become another pair of socks. I don't know exactly what, but they will be something, and it'll be fine. I totally love the yarn. There's the variation in the yarn, and it's so beautiful. I can't wait to use it on something. I just need to find the right pattern for it. It looked good in that pattern. It was just the pattern itself that was kind of boring me. So you take a look at that pattern. Maybe it'll be perfect for you. It didn't hold my interest for some reason or another. And I've been feeling kind of ambivalent about my knitting sometimes lately. Like the flax sweater, I really have to like give myself reasons to work on it. Like, oh, we'll watch a movie together and I'll work on, knit on my flax. Or after I knit an inch on my flax, then, I'll let myself, do another fun thing. So I don't know if it's maybe just because a lot of my knitting, especially the sweater, feels kind of like it's not very fun because it's just plain stockinette, and, knitting for a million years, not doing anything else isn't very fun. Not all the time. Sometimes it is. So anyways, so we'll see. I do have some things that I'm looking at that I'm trying to decide if I want to cast on, but I have a few things that I have on the needles already, and I'm kind of feeling like maybe I need to work through some of them. Okay. Let's talk about it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I have started to get out my hand-knitted shawls and scarves and things, and I'm washing them and blocking them and getting them ready for the fall because it's coming up, people. There is some ridiculous forecast out there that we might get some snow like by the end of September. What? That's crazy here in southwestern Missouri. Like, that is just insane. But there are some models that are predicting it. So not like models like, I don't know any models. Like Kate Moss is not predicting that we're going to have snow, but like, like the forecasting models and things like that. Kate Moss doesn't do a lot of weather reports, at least not in this area. But anyways, so we'll see what happens with the weather, but I want to be prepared. So be prepared with me. And I am still trying to figure out how I want to store my shawls. I'm kind of maybe coming up with an idea that might work. So I'm looking for a container that will be able to hold them, that won't take up too much space, but will not squish all my stuff, because it's hard to wear lace that is all squished up and doesn't look good. I mean, that's just not fun. So anyway, I would recommend that perhaps you might want to start washing and blocking some of your hand-knitted items too. Maybe you didn't get it done at the end of the last winter season. So think about it, but let's get on it. Let's get it done, people. All right. We have a book review today. Yay! So speaking of shawls and scarves, we have a book that we wanted to review. I bought this a few months ago because I was feeling inspired, and why did I say we? It's not the royal we. There's nobody else here. It's just me. We would like, oh no. So this book is Scarf Style 2, and it is published by, I believe, Interweave Press, and was published last year. I bought it at a local bookstore for $24.95. You may possibly be able to find it somewhere else for a different price, hopefully cheaper. But I saw it and I was like, I need that, I think. So here we go. what I like about this book, I made some notes. Number one, I think that this book was had a really good photography. I like that it shows the knits really well. And let me find an example. Here's, like, for example, this is a scarf by Jared Flood, and it's a darker kind of gray brown scarf, and it's cables, but you can see the cables really, really well. They took time to make sure that you could see what it is that's going on in the scarf, even if the scarf is a darker shade. And so I'm really excited about that. I like that they show that if there are multiple ways of wearing the scarf, that you are able to see that too. So like here is a scarf that I love. This is the checkered cowl. So here it is wrapped twice around her neck. And here it is just as a really big loop around her neck. I really like that the patterns are very easy to read. And they have design techniques. They have a page reference, so let me show you. So right here, without showing the pattern too much, here are your design techniques. And see how at the end, it shows a page number that you can go to in the back. So if you know that you're gonna have to Kitchener something, you know, oh, I need to go to page 169, rather than having to search through the whole book. Who wants to do that? We don't have time for that. Let's see. I like that there are 30 pages in the back of design information, as far as things that you need to know. And also, I like it goes through like color work and stripes and textures and the differences between some things and reversible patterns. It almost makes you feel like, well, if I can learn some of these things, maybe I can design my own scarf. Who knows? And I like that there are a variety of skills that they have in the book. It's not just all lace. They do have books that are like that, where they're, you know, lace style and, you know, the whole style family of books that they've printed. But like for example, in this couple that I wrote down, they have brioche, cables, entrelac, lace, ribbing, fair isle, and other color work. So that's, I mean, 7 things right there that, you know, I just kind of noted. But they have a lot of different things. If you like cables, there's going to be something in here for you. You know, if you like color work, there's going to be some things in here for you. And not just like one thing, but several things. I also like the variety of yarns that they used and the variety of weights of yarns. It's not all in fingering weight and it's not all in Aran weight. They have everything in between. And so I like that. You know, I'm not typically one who works in a lot of the heavier yarns. I mean, really worsted is like the max for me. I don't know that I've really ever done anything in a bulky weight yarn. I don't prefer it. So it's nice to, you know, that the book has something for everybody. So patterns that I really like in here. I'm going to show you several. The first one is called Queenie. And what I really like about it is I like the combination of the color work and the texture. And so it's not all just one thing. It's kind of broken up. You know, you have some color work here, and then you have these textured bits and the texture on the ends, and even those are picot bind offs. And this one pattern is 5 pages. So they don't try and, you know, cram it all in to like 2 pages. They really take their time and make sure that it's explained really, really well what you need to do. And I really appreciate that as a knitter. I don't want to feel like I got, you know, they were going skimpy on a pattern and then I'm left, you know, halfway through the project going, I no clue what to do next. So that's good. The next one that I really love is called Passing Through Shawl. And that is the front of it. And here is what the back side looks like. And that's the top of the back. It shows you even closer. So what I like about this, I like the combination of lace and cables. And I like that the lace and cables that are on the back side, the chart there, it's charted and it's written out. So if you are not a person who's completely comfortable with charts, it's taken care of. You're okay. And then it has a cable, I don't know if you saw the cable along the bottom there that goes on the edging. I like that. That was really pretty to me. The next one, I already showed this to you, but it's worth showing again. The checkered cowl. That is such a fun look to me. Okay, number one, that's just a fun look. That's a really fun style look. I also love the really bold color choices. You know, I like the bright orange. I'm not really like a bright orange kind of person, like really not, but I love that. I think that was so fun. And so like that's kind of inspired me. Like maybe I do want to have a cowl that has bright orange in it right next to my face. I don't know, but I'm willing to try. What's the worst thing? It looks awful on me and then I give it away. But even then I have given away something very, very cute to somebody else who likes it. So that one's really fun. Next on page 59, I love everything about this pattern. Love everything. This is called the pleated chevrons. Can you see that? There you go. How gorgeous is that? My note on there, I had a heart next to it and I said, I love everything and I want one tomorrow. I'm not getting one tomorrow, but I want one tomorrow. This is, of course, designed by the amazing Veronique Avery. And it uses a sport weight yarn. It has it's 100% baby alpaca, which is why it looks like it drapes like a dream. But I'm not a big alpaca person. I'm not even a tiny alpaca person. And so I'm not going to use that. I would not use that same yarn, but definitely would want something with a lot of drape to it because it's so beautiful. I love that. Love it. Ugh. What else? 87, page 87 has the deep shades scarf on it. I really like how the book has a lot of classic looking things and then a lot of trendy looking shawls and scarves as well. This is a very classic looking scarf to me. I mean, you could wear that anywhere, and I think I would. It's clean, it's classic, and it's a beautiful yarn, I do believe, because, yeah, it's handmade in sea silk, which is 70% silk and 30% sea cell. So no wonder I love it, because it's gorgeous yarn. I have two more that I really enjoyed. The first one is called Duplex. And let's see, I like that it's textured but not overly textured. There's no right or wrong side, and it's a cowl or a shrug depending on the size that you make it. How cool is that? This is by Laura Nelkin, and again, of course, a brilliant designer. It says, to produce a geometric shape that she calls a faux bias, Laura Nelkin started with a provisional cast-on, worked a series of short row blocks to create a rectangle, put a half twist in the piece, then grafted the ends together to form a Mobius strip. By working the short row blocks in a combination of stockinette and garter stitch punctuated with eyelets, there is no right or wrong side. Love, love, love. I want to make that one too. Okay, guys? Totally gonna do it. I say that, and I mean it for the next 5 minutes. No, longer than that. Okay, and then the last one is called Eufaula. And I'm gonna show first with it expanded. And I love the kind of rippling waves. It's not a feather and fan, but it has that kind of wavy feel to it. I really like that. And here it is doubled up so that it doesn't have to be all the way down to your knees. Not that it would be, but I like that it's versatile. I like it when I can have a choice on how to wear things. You know, I don't want to, you know, only be able to wear something one way, especially when it's an accessory, you know. So those are the ones that I love. I also thought that this one would be great for a beginner if you didn't do it, if you modified the stitch count, because there are increases and decreases, and it's not terribly complicated. And so I thought that it'd be a really good beginner type shawl. What do you think? There were a couple of designs in here, 3 that I did not care for. And I'm just gonna show those really quick because I don't like to focus on negative things, but sometimes you need to be forewarned. Okay, the first one was, I think, the one that was the most like, what to me? This is the 3D entrelac scarf. There are other ways to do entrelac, other patterns. I think Scarf Style, the first book, had the Lady Eleanor in it. I would consider that one over this one. Kind of, it's just not my thing. Like, that's just a little bit edgy, more edgy than I want to be. And maybe if you're a process knitter and like the learning is something that you really enjoy and that's why you knit and you're not attached to the things that you knit, you could knit this and then just, you know, donate it. But not my favorite. The next one was this one, and that's called Brioche Branches. I think it's a beautiful scarf. I just feel really bad because brioche stitch is a really intensive stitch, and especially brioche when it's doing things, when it's moving, when the stitch pattern is moving. And I mean, it's a really big, it's a long pattern. I mean, it's like 8 pages of pattern, but you can't hardly see it because the yarns are so close together in color value. There's like a lighter green and a darker green, so it's hard to see all this amazing work that you've gone into. So if you knit this, if you decide that you really love it and you want to knit it, I would recommend doing one with different colors. And you just don't call the branches one then. Or you do it with like a brown and a green or something like that. I don't know. You can make up your mind on that. The last one that of the ones that wasn't necessarily my very favorite was this one right here. It just looks a little bit big and clunky. And I wrote, just no thank you. If someone said, would you like to make this? I would say, no thank you. Or if they said, would you like to wear it, Brianne? I would say, no, thank you. It's just not my favorite. And that's okay. If it's your favorite and you want to go out and buy this book only for this pattern, that's okay too. It's just not my style. But that's why they have a whole book full of styles of scarves, is because not everything is going to be your favorite. Not everything is going to be my favorite. If you have the first scarf style book, I'd be interested to know if you would be interested in this book too. Like, is it different enough from the first book that you have that you would invest in the second book? I don't know. You tell me. So anyways, that's my book review. And, most of my knitting books have been in storage for like 2 years. And so, most of the patterns that I've knitted recently have either been free or mostly free. Or they've been purchased on Ravelry as PDF files. So, I do want to, and making something out of that book, because I want, it's not a good investment to buy a book and never use it. I mean, even if you just use it for inspiration, I think that's something. But if you're not going to use it at all for anything, and it's just going to sit on your bookshelf, I mean, that's kind of sad. Use your books. Let's see, the last thing I want to talk about is our contest. We have a contest going on right now, and you need to know about it because you should be a part of it. This is our Fresh Face giveaway. Last week we had our show Clean Faces and Open Hearts, and I want to make sure that you know about the contest that we have going on. So here we go. As we learn to embrace who we are challenging our viewers to take a picture of themselves without their makeup on and post it in the Fresh Face thread on our board. The contest will run from Sunday, August 31st until Saturday, September 13th. 1 entry per person and no chatter in that thread. We do have a second chatter thread set up. So please just make sure that you post your face, and I think we have a question for you also in the no chatter thread that we'll be picking from, because we'll be doing a random number generator. And the winner will win this beautiful skein of Freshwater Pearls yarn. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I really don't want to give this to you guys, but I'm going to because I love you. And then I got this very appropriate bag from the Sampler Girl that says, "Keep calm and knit on." And so we'll be sending these things to whoever it is that wins. I will be closing that thread at some point, probably in the evening, Central Time, on the 13th. So just make sure that you post a picture of yourself so that we can see your beautiful face just the way God made it. And that's it. So I don't think we're gonna have a postcard from the Ozarks this week because Mom has not been feeling well, and so I don't think we're gonna be doing that. It's probably gonna be a pretty non-edited episode this week, but that's okay because you love us anyways, don't you? And we love you too. So just remember that you are knitworthy. Bye guys, we'll see you next week. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26, verse 3.